grab your popcorn, find your favorite lounger, sit back and relax because it's time for episode number 26 of the Subscription Podcast. Let's go, Louie.
I'm excited.
This is going to be like legit. There's a lot going on in the space right now. A massive drama happening at one of my favorite subscription brands out there, OpenAI. And lots of other fun stuff. Let's just kick this right off here because we've got lots of news happening.
You want to go with the popcorn worthy one or just like build up to it?
I think we build up to it because you start off with like
that's true.
Eating that popcorn. You want to get
through the preview to then
beverage.
This is the preview.
But lots happening in the subscription space. And if you haven't joined us before, this is the podcast where we talk about everything subscription, membership, recurring revenue. So thanks for tuning in. If you're a regular listener, we love you and appreciate you.
Yes, and if you're new, we love you too. Let's go into the streaming world. Two streaming services doing two very different things. Warner Bros. Cutting down the prices for its ad-supported tier, going from $9.99 to $2.99. Mm-hmm. So very interesting. The company is struggling to keep the subscribers and really maximize the value. On the other side of things, Netflix for the 6th, 7th, I'm not sure. You tell me, you're one of their subscribers, is once again raising its prices.
How much am I paying now?
So depending on your plan, if you're on the basic plan.
This is it. This is the time I cancel.
You will now pay $12 per month, $11.99, which is $2 more than usual. Premium plan, you'll pay an extra $3, which will bring you to $23. And then the standard tier remains at $15.49. So they've increased prices on two tiers and not the other ones.
Can I tell you a deep, dark secret?
I don't know.
As a one percenter, I vowed to never return to Netflix about a decade ago. Whenever it was. I don't know. It's maybe not a decade ago. It's like half a decade ago. It probably was a decade ago.
Okay.
I vowed to never return to Netflix.
What was the reason for that?
Pricing.
Oh, wow.
Had to do with pricing. And the reason so I've been a member since 2013, but I actually think I had another account before that, and that's when I restarted my membership, October 2013. These guys, man. And the reason is they had changed their pricing when they rolled out. I thought the rollout of Quickster, they're peeled off the DVD rental business to be Quickster, was done so horribly that I lost my mind. And there's some tweets out there in my Twitter history where I'm like, I'm done with Netflix. I'm never coming back. I can't believe how bad this is. Raising the prices, blah, 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 blah. And like a year or two later, I went back to it.
And you're still on. And you just vowed on this podcast to cancel. So
no, I said this might be the time. This might be the time where I do, because it's getting to the point where I'm looking at my pricing on streaming. And this is something for, in any aspect of subscription that you're in, you need to be conscious of. You need to be aware that your subscribers may be evaluating other options, looking at, their pocketbooks, especially right now as people continue to kind of tighten, the purse strings a little bit and watch their spending. You have to be consistently providing value and making sure that you're not going to raise yourself out of the market and out of being in their kind of purview of something that I need to have in my life.
And the interesting thing is Netflix is doing this, and they're not justifying like the reason that I'm about to say, but they're gaining subscribers. So every quarterly report that they're saying, there is a subscriber increase.
They are. Well, no. But time out. That's not fair. That's not fair because that's based on they did their password thing.
They did.
And so, of course, my parents are now subscribers because it's just easier than paying the $8 a month for them and whatever. I was like, just get your own plan. My sister will be on her own plan soon. Fine, but you're going to start to lose people where it's like it's less valuable now. Well, before I'm like, oh, my mom's on, my parents are on it, my sister's on it. It's like, might as well just keep it, even for the extra couple bucks a month. Now I'm going to be more conscious of it, and I'll go back into it. Where I think they're missing an opportunity is they're starting to look at live streaming, like sports and things like that. And there will be more live streaming options. That's when you layer in additional package offerings. Because as we've learned from the New York Times, and if we learn from others, and what we learned at SubSummit last year, it's about the right price, with the right pack, the right offering at the right time. And if you're just going to keep raising prices on me, I'm eventually going to churn.
Yep.
I'm going to be upset about it because I feel like you're not providing more value. You're not doing more things. You're just raising prices. And I understand your business is costing more to operate. I get there's a big strike. You got to make a bunch of content now. But not many people understand. Like, that's a business thing.
That's
like,
not your
so-
problem. As a consumer,
Also not
that's
my
not your
problem.
problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people fail to distinguish of what are my business's needs, what are my consumers' needs.
Right.
And when you're able to separate the two and understand that, you know what, maybe let's look at the long-term play of we don't increase the cost this year because of what our consumers are telling us, right? But clearly there is a reasoning. It's not all madness.
What did they say they're raising the price to?
There were two plans. Basic plan going from 12 to is now 12. It was 10 or $9.99, and then the premium plan will now be $23, and it was before it.
So I'm on some $15.49 plan.
So that yours hasn't changed. You're remaining a customer. So clearly they've identified that the two segments are probably coming really hot as far as subscribers, and you being cheap is gonna really help.
Cost conscious, budget conscious. You know,
Frugal.
the other thing in this area, and I want to talk about this today, and good time to dive into it right now, is I went to go make the switch from Hulu to YouTube TV recently.
Yep.
And the reason I didn't make that switch was because I didn't see the pricing transparency enough on their page. I was not able to compare apples to apples. Now, I'm sure if I dug deeper into it, I'm sure if I Googled like Hulu versus YouTube TV, I would have found it. But in my basic research, when I went to YouTube TV, read their offering, tried to learn more about it, I wasn't able to compare apples to apples. And I get they're not apples to apples
I
necessarily.
was just gonna ask that.
But they're both the same. I'm looking at the same service. So I'm looking at like, I want live streaming of television for my house. Then from there, I want to know, okay, with Hulu, I have like multiple devices. I have DVR capability. I have these channels. YouTube should be like offering me like, give me the choice. Again, this comes back to like just asking the consumer the right questions. And holy cow, there's enough advanced technology now. You should understand, you should be able to like use AI to understand and know what I'm looking for and help drive me down a right path.
Yeah.
But you're not. I don't understand that.
I just found a website that did the comparison for you.
Great.
So
But is it on YouTube TV's
No,
website?
but
then it's not valid. Then they're doing something wrong.
That's the interesting thing is maybe they're not doing it themselves, but it's something that is out there. So why not do it? Because that's your direct competitor.
Right.
I was going to ask about.
Unless it's not as good. And that's why I stopped. Because I realized I was going to end up paying more or the same for YouTube TV and have less features.
So what I'm
least
looking
that's what I
at, it looks like YouTube TV is slightly better, but $3. Well, so Hulu increased their prices in October of this year, went from 70 to 77. YouTube TV, once again, this is from another source, so I'm not positive on this. YouTube TV is at $73 a month. There is more than 100 plus YouTube original channels, and then Hulu only has more than 85. DVR is the same. On demand is the same. Simultaneous, 3 for YouTube, and then 2 for Hulu.
Right.
So YouTube TV is slightly better.
And the reason I started looking at it is because they have that multi-streaming feature. So you can watch like 4 at once.
Yep.
Huge. And especially like in my basement with the projector, it would look really cool. We have
Yep.
people over for sporting events and stuff like that. But it's just too much work to make the switch.
That's a very good, like, how do you and I were talking about this yesterday, the education curve that your product takes. How can you make that as simple as possible while still giving everyone, because people will have different degrees of research. They can be you who's going to be more thorough because you're like, there's a cost consciousness and you're also interested.
Right.
And there is someone like Chris George, your business partner, who is the world's best customer because you're like, oh, I need this right now.
Yeah,
Here's
he'll
my
just
credit
buy
card.
it. He'll just buy it. And maybe he doesn't give as much thought to like, oh, if I switch from Hulu to YouTube TV, I'll lose my preferences.
Yes.
And, he's a different stage in life too, where he doesn't have kids. And so I know like my kids are going to be like, Dad, where did all our history go? And we were watching this show. And I'm like, oh God, got to deal with that. So I think, that's where it's asking those right questions and understanding your audience. But I think there's the lesson in this for me is understanding, continuing to understand your customer, target the right content at them, look at the right offering at the right time in there. If anything shows from New York Times, publicly traded data out there, what they say is a publicly traded company, where they're seeing success, and the things they've talked publicly about it at SubSummit it's very much about that, and they have seen success and they have continued to grow. So I think this is a great lesson for any subscription brand out there to continue to invest in looking at those offerings and what you can do.
And something really quick to add on this, it's don't use Black Friday or Cyber Monday as your Hail Mary of acquisition trial, because we know streaming is both the best acquisition channel right now and the worst,
churn.
Highest churn. So just because you get a big influx of people because you've slashed your prices in half or in a quarter or whatever, doesn't mean they're going to be here around New Year, because they can switch that easily now to the next streaming service. So you have to make sure your offering is cohesive and also consistent throughout the entire year with what your consumers want.
Yeah. So YouTube TV, come to SubSummit.
Also,
you'll learn a lot.
Let's do a panel.
Business.
Let's do a panel of YouTube TV, Hulu, Disney,
So we do have already coming to SubSummit, CNBC, My Outdoor TV, Max. There's a number of streamers already confirmed that they'll be there, and I think it's a great conversation to be had, and hopefully, even though they're competing businesses, there's still a lot of great mind share that can happen there. So
absolutely,
be fun to see.
Another brand to monitor, but not in the best way right now, is Peloton.
Ooh.
Reporting some wider than expected loss. And an interesting little caveat that I'm going to get to in a second. So it turns out subscriber count and revenue is going down. They're not succeeding in maximizing the consumer's average order value. They're not succeeding in keeping them interested in the product, which I think you and I both find kind of odd, because the potential for this brand is limitless, right? You have the digital aspect, you have the physical aspect.
They partner with Lululemon.
I mean, the partnerships are through the roof, but it's just they're not making revenue out of this. But the one kind of interesting note that you dove into in one of your interviews with one of the recurring revenue heroes is that their rental model is working quite well. Their rental model, I'm going to get to at some point, is responsible for a third of the revenue, if what I read is true.
Third of revenue of what?
Their
overall
subscription revenue. I got to find this.
Or is this like new revenue? So it's interesting. While you're searching for that, I'll comment on that, because one of the Element 5 digital team members recently shared with me, I was on like a Zoom call with her, and she's like, hang on, I got to go. I'm getting a Peloton delivered.
Yes.
I was like, wow, that's really cool. I said, do you buy it? And she said, no, I rented it. I was like, they have a rental program?
Yeah,
it's called fitness.
It's called Fitness as a Service. Their CEO, Barry McCarthy, called it a big growth opportunity. It's responsible for more than a third of bike sales. So my apologies on this. And they ended the quarter with 54,000 rental subscribers in the US and Canada. They're expecting 75,000 by the end of this year.
Interesting. Yet they can't make money.
I don't get it.
Crazy.
I don't get it.
What would be I'd actually be curious to dive into their earnings. It would be a fun thing to do one day. Is let's break it down and see, could you make Peloton profitable? Can you trim marketing back? What's their customer acquisition costs in there? Can you trim marketing back enough to still acquire enough for what you're churning? Or are there things you can do and change to minimize your churn, to keep people on longer, maybe increase that AOV or the LTV? I mean, there's a ton of levers you can pull in there. What levers do you have to pull to make it profitable?
This is insane, though, Paul. They're partnering with Lululemon, the NBA, the WNBA. They now have partnerships with the Liverpool Football Club, one of the most prestigious clubs in soccer in the whole world. The University of Michigan, with its site of stories and all that stuff, and the New York Road Runners. Those are partnerships. Like Lululemon by themselves have 13 million loyalty.
And they took over, that was part of their agreement, was they would deliver all the content. Lulu made that Mirror acquisition, which I thought was actually a good play, and then turns out they're like, this is a distraction. Let's just roll up with things with Peloton. Peloton won't do apparel anymore because they're stealing from us. And they still can't make this work. Maybe it'll take some time. These things take time sometimes, and maybe they'll get it going. Look at Uber's finally profitable. Okay,
it took them 15 years?
Like decades. I don't know, not that long. They've been around that long, but it's it takes a while to get these going. Especially these types of companies are going for hyper growth for a while. Like they're in growth mode, and now most investors saying but you got to make money at some point.
Yeah,
and so I'd love to see Peloton turn a corner here and start focusing on profitability. I think it'd be good for the business. As a shareholder, I would love to see it. And I think, it should be possible.
Listen, I don't have all the answer, but I think this is the most insane data point here that can solve a lot. Revenue from Peloton subscription. We have $415 million. Okay?
415
million dollars subscription revenue
annually.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Hardware sales, 180.6.
That's like super low profitability though. There's very little money. At least I think maybe they were making more on it in the past, but what's your point there?
Well, my pondering is, okay, so you make revenue 180 from the hardware. How much does it cost? Like the margin,
It's small. Usually, unless like I Peloton might have been making more before, but I think those margins have slipped and gone down. But
how much does it cost to produce the hardware? Like
the bikes and the treads?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like an insane amount for what they're selling, but how
Maybe
much does that
margin.
affect though? How much does that affect the company?
So either way, take that aside. You got a boatload of cash coming in MRR. And so, I get there's production costs. There's content production, there's the studios, those individuals aren't cheap probably, but can't be 415 million. There's stores. They need to get rid of their stores. There's still a store at Somerset Mall. The stores are worthless. They're absolutely worthless. I would walk into one. When I bought my Pelotons, I walked into a store and bought it, and I had a whole debacle. Bradley did some like super secret filming one day because I remember
Way
this.
to ruin that.
What?
Anonymity, like you can say super secret filming and then say Bradley.
I mean,
somebody else did it.
So he
was a
said
guy-
Peloton. He just said Peloton at Somerset, and I was with Bradley.
Oopsie poopsie. No, so I attempted to buy the Peloton. It didn't show up. And what happened, I figured this out and I let people know and nobody cared. It's so annoying. If you bought a tread and a bike together, because they disbanded the teams that would deliver a tread and bike, the delivery never happened. And it sat in limbo, kept getting rescheduled.
I remember this.
I canceled the whole order, bought a bike, bought a tread. They both were delivered the next day. And I only discovered this by asking the install guys and telling them. I complained to anybody who would listen to me. And I went to the store and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do once we place the order. That's
weren't
all
you DMing someone on LinkedIn?
I
who was
found 20 people on LinkedIn and reached out to them all.
This was a big thing.
I eventually got to the person who is in charge of global supply chain and logistics. And then I got that person to answer me because I found a friend who used to work with them at Amazon. I got him to text him on the side and say hey, can you answer Paul's LinkedIn message? He finally answered my LinkedIn message. We emailed back and forth for a while. Again, worthless conversation. He did nothing for me. Nice guy though. But I told him what the problem was, what was happening, and there was no follow-up on it. I told multiple people at Peloton the problem that they had. Zero people
There's
cared.
no proper training on how to problem solve.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when you identify a problem in their supply chain, and I was intent on getting the Pelotons at that time, but otherwise, I would have.
You were going to purchase them no matter what.
Yeah, and I wish now I had not done it.
So you know what's interesting about this, and I think you're already in talks with them, or you have a meeting set up. Is the team at Fabletics?
Yeah,
and their stores should be studied by a lot of the paid membership.
Actually, they as we're talking to them right now, I didn't realize how strong they are in leading with their membership.
That's what I was going to say.
From the moment you walk into that store,
everyone is trained properly on, you're not leaving this store without signing up for a
doing
membership.
Amazing things.
So if Peloton, yes, right now Peloton stores are worthless, but if Peloton learned from this, and it's hey, you're going to leave a member.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are little things where you can train your staff a little better. You can hire problem solvers, and you can just make your whole experience.
Let's do this. Let's put it on our calendars to secret shop. We're going to secret shop Peloton, and then we're going to secret shop Fabletics.
All right.
And it's not really a
Bradley-
secret. We're just going to walk in.
Am I going undercover
I think.
again?
Well, Bradley,
I
we
mean, I
said
never
your
went
name.
undercover.
Somerset doesn't allow you to tape it there.
I'm looking.
I've been kicked
I
out a
have
few
some
times.
time on April 33rd.
No,
How does that look
we're
for-
going like
no?
next week. We're going next week. We're going to Somerset next
Okay.
week. We're going to go to both those stores.
I'll just
And
cancel
what
my
we want to
PTA.
see is, will the Peloton team attempt to, we're going to say we don't have Pelotons right now. Do you have a Peloton membership of any kind?
Come on.
You also don't have a gym membership. We're going to say you don't have a gym membership.
Well, okay, that's
And
fair.
we'll
Just new to the game.
yeah, new to the game. You're interested in learning about Peloton.
I'm from France.
What-
I'm an exchange student trying to learn
Really
the
broken
fitness
English.
industry.
What they should be doing from the moment you walk in the store is get you to install the app
Yes.
in Peloton.
Oh, let me help you create an account really quickly. That's going to
Yeah.
take 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then
And
you'll
there's
be
a
able
free
to log in.
trial. Like, you're going to love the workouts. You'll love the parts of that. And you know what? If you're interested in a tread or a bike or rowing machine down the line, you should come back. But like, if you're interested in it right now, you should try. They should obviously be trying to get you into the full experience. But at the very least, I should not walk out of that store without installing the
You
app.
and I need to be two very different type of consumer persona, which we are
Okay.
in a way, but like to
Yeah.
really see if they're tailoring anything or they're just like, don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Okay.
fascinating.
And then we're going to go to Fabletics and we're going to talk about it on the next podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We got to hang on. I got to
Done.
write a note.
See you
Book
later.
time for Date with Louie.
Oh.
It's so sweet.
Anywho, speaking of sports, I want to Zwift, I should say. Wow, what a transition. I want to Zwift to another topic, which is another cycling kind of phenomenon right now. Zwift. It's an indoor cycling
Zwift.
app.
Okay.
And they're launching a new annual subscription in order to help consumers save cost over their
Indoor
monthly
cycling.
membership.
Made fun.
So if you don't know what Zwift is, it's an indoor cycling app. So you could have, your regular road bike. Let's say it's the winter and you live in a state that's not really, road bike friendly during those months. That app allows you to train as if in a kind of a virtual manner with
Wait,
your
I don't need to rent a Peloton for this?
No.
I can use my bike in my garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the crazy thing, I was just reading this earlier. It followed that announcement by unveiling what I think is the coolest thing of all time, the Zwift Games, which is set to be the largest cycling esports competition ever. Which, can we take a second right now of how genius that is?
Okay.
Like the number of bikers across the world, if they all on this app.
Are they called bikers or cyclists?
Oh my gosh, please.
I'm being serious. I don't want to offend anybody on this
So
podcast.
are we talking
I
like
probably
a
offended like 10 people
road-
so far.
Yeah,
We're talking
cyclists.
like thousands of people battle royale sort of thing,
Yeah,
where they're
but with
all
bikes.
racing,
It's like the Tour de France, but Tour de World, Zwift
Yeah.
style.
and with like quadruple the
Are they
amount of
bigger-
people, pretty much.
Are they bigger
Way
internationally?
more than that?
Yes,
actually.
they're set in the U.S., but they do have a U.K. offering. They do have a European.
This isn't
Union.
cheap though. 1 year membership
yeah.
is $600.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's the coolest thing. One because
Only
they're not just.
$600.
But you got to think about the investment though. If cycling is your passion, and keep in mind, I want to say this too. They've also confirmed the return of the Zwift Academy, which incredible too. Through
Oh.
the program of the Zwift Academy, riders have the opportunity to earn a spot on the rosters. This is a real life thing of development squads of World Tour teams like Alpecin de Sonic, which is another thing, and Canyon SRAM. So we have people competing virtually or training virtually. And if they join this academy through their subscription, they have the chance of biking for real, getting paid to do this.
Cycling.
Is no one losing their mind over this right now?
That's like the Gran Turismo
I'm just
story
hung up
where
on you
like the
calling
video
it
gamer
biking.
ended up actually.
Do you know how crazy this
Racing.
is?
I think so. By the way, I was wrong on the pricing. That included the cassette, the kicker core with the cassette plus a membership. So
Annual
it's like,
membership is $150.
yeah.
That's much better.
$15 a month. Yeah. Like, wow.
But I mean, wow.
I think that's fantastic. I think their audience is a little more limited. Like Peloton appeals to
Yes.
the any person
The average person.
that wants to like just exercise and get fit, and it has way more. This is more cycling focused, it seems, and those cycling enthusiasts. But I love the idea they're gamifying the experience even more. Now, what's interesting is Peloton tried to gamify their experience and try to do like little games in there. I did it once and then never went back to it. But I think their audience will play better into this. They know they're appealing to their audience with what they're doing.
I mean, I'm just looking at random data right now.
But I'm not subscribing to. Zwift. I'm not a Zwift user.
But just putting this from playtoday.co, in the U.S., around 51.4 million riders participate in cycling as a sport.
Decent. I don't know how that compares to other things.
No, obviously.
I would assume cycling's bigger in European.
Oh,
countries.
I mean, compared to Michigan too, absolutely. But
we're losing our time. Our window to cycle is gone.
But like when you think about it, Zwift is the perfect app for Michigan residents, right? You truly get to make the most out of it. What I love is they're doing what we've been preaching all along. They're offering you a chance to stay committed for a longer period of time while gaining money, so their retention goes up. Their chances to maximize their consumer AOV is through the roof now. They don't have to do as much of a play on a monthly basis to keep their customers engaged because you have the annual pass. You're good to go. Here's what you get. Now it's all about how do you make the content engaging? How do you innovate if you need to? How do you get more tracks available, right? More roads, more scenery, like all those kind of things. But you have more time to work on this. You have more money to work on this potentially. So very interesting play. Would love to have Zwift come up to SubSummit because want to know more about them. Want to see if I can qualify to do this freaking spot.
You could do that on the next podcast. You could Zwift the whole podcast.
I'm down. If you pay for it, so breathing. Down.
Or Zwift at SubSummit.
All right. This is it. You've had your popcorn. You're probably done with your fourth bag of popcorn by now, but this is exciting. OpenAI.
There's no more.
This
is the end.
For the last 5 days. A lot. I think we had...
Who knows?
The news cycle is broken because of OpenAI. Because too many things have happened back to back.
But I'll tell you what. You know who's the scoop, like, time after time in this whole saga is the information.
Oh, they're so
great.
They
are scooping every story, every element of this drama. This is going to be the best Netflix, Hulu, Max documentary because they're all going to make one about it. In the history of documentaries, Sam Altman had his Steve Jobs moment.
Catch us up, like we're 5 years old.
I mean, I think most of this community listening is gonna know what's happening right now. But to date, Sam Altman was ousted from OpenAI by the board in a surprise firing last Friday. Got called into Google Meets. So, word to the wise, don't accept last-minute Google Meet invites.
Bold move.
They're like, hey, we just want to jump on a quick Google Meet with the board. Yeah, right. No, I'm busy. Sorry about that. But and then he was fired. Then this
was following the OpenAI pausing ChatGPT Plus subscriptions, right?
Yeah, we don't know how much that had to do with anything, but they did pause
the
GPT Plus, and the reason they gave was that there was so much demand coming out of Dev Day and so many challenges with it. And actually last week, I built a GPT, a custom sock builder GPT. So one of the brands that I'm a partner in and have an interest in is Custom Sock Shop. And they've been doing this for like 20 years. They make custom socks for anything and everything. And it's pretty cool. And so I was like, and I saw that GPT built by OpenAI was a sticker thing. Anyway, long story short, I built a sock builder, but I noticed you couldn't get to it unless you had a GPT Plus subscription. I was like, that sucks. It'd be cool to put on their website. That's the future. That's where it's going. Because right now, what happens is if you go to Custom Sock Shop, you have to fill out this form. Somebody designs it, they send it back to you. Now you can go into the GPT that I built, tell it what you want it to see, and it's going to give you designs. You can then take those designs, go right to Custom Sock Shop and order immediately. Cuts down significantly on 5 days worth of the back and forth, improves your ordering the way it should be. But you have to have GPT Plus right now to use it. Someday they'll open that. So anyway, they found all this is wildly popular, blah, blah, blah. And that's riding all on the heels of that. And so Sam gets called into this meeting, told he's fired. His co-founder, Greg, says, well, F you guys, I'm out too. Peace. He leaves.
Whole employee.
Then... all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Every employee is like, that's it. I'm quitting. Ilya, one of their chief data scientists there, who sided with the board initially to move him on, is now backpedaling, saying I really regret that. I'm really sorry. Because in essence, it imploded the entire company. To the point where even as an outside consumer knowing the story and kind of seeing what's going on, I feel dirty using ChatGPT now.
Wow.
I feel a little bit this is...
But you won't stop using it, though.
there's no other options right now.
Yeah.
Now so kind of the latest thing that just happened is apparently Sam and Greg were going over to Microsoft now to build a competing product, but Microsoft's an investor in OpenAI, and now 400 plus of the 460 of the 471 employees signed protest documents saying they demand that they be reinstated. It's an ongoing drama.
And now the board is considering rehiring Sam now.
Yeah, and so by the way, like last Sunday, 2 days ago, Sam got called into the offices. They met with the board, and part of the conditions that he was asking for was to be reinstated and have more control and eliminate the board's control over him. They wouldn't do that, and so then he said, like, fine, I'm done. For now, I don't know. Who knows if he'll come back? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But here's the other controversial part of this is like OpenAI is meant to be a nonprofit. It was originally started to be something that's exploring the AI community, building these AI solutions in a responsible way. And Sam has even made statements before. If the board wants to fire me, the board can fire me. So we're at this point now where OpenAI is at this crossroads. Is it going to continue as a business and move forward? Or is there going to be a mass exodus and they're going to be left with a product, but no team to continue working on it? Because I'm telling you right now, the way that went down, the reaction of Silicon Valley, nobody's going to work for OpenAI. And the rumor mills are that many people have applied for jobs at Google, Microsoft. Some are going to Tesla. So it's like, this is a turning point for this, which is one of the fastest growing subscriptions we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and I don't think the news cycle is over either. Like, I think there's going to be
this is not done.
A solid 13 more stories coming out. And I think what you and I were talking about is how much of this is the whole truth, right? Because we know the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
For a minute.
So I would love to find out eventually what exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this will be a great documentary someday, a great drama. And he truly, like, when I say he's had his Steve Jobs moment, that's what happened to Steve Jobs. He was ousted by John Scully over at Apple, and it was one of the biggest mistakes that Apple ever made. Yeah. And eventually rehired him back in, and he, took over and ran it and built it to great success. But like, I think sometimes these boards, they have a lot of control. There's a lot of great content out there about, like, if you have a board and you're venture backed, about how to protect yourself and look out for these kind of things. The Morning Brew team, Alex Lieberman, he tweeted a bunch of things about it and it's been talking about it. There's a lot of great, things to be considering out there as you're looking at your own interests in a possible situation like this. But nonetheless, the thing that I think our approach or our topic of conversation here is like, how something like that can have such an impact on your business. And sometimes having a public leader and a publicly, facing leader like that and a dramatic action can really change the face. Now, with that though, if Facebook said like, hey, we're letting go of Mark Zuckerberg, is everybody leaving Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg has a different vibe about him. It's different. There's too much controversy already surrounding Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
Like,
Tesla says we're firing Elon Musk.
Same thing. That's the two probably the worst examples.
So you're saying Sam Altman is so beloved?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's
people are like, I'm out of here.
There is less controversy surrounding Sam than there is Elon.
Okay.
And then there is Mark Zuckerberg.
There's got to be something to do with this character that everyone would want to stand right behind it. That should be telling at least to a certain
extent. I think that's the way it went down.
The employees,
and maybe Sam played this right in the social media space too, because he tweeted, about like, I was just let go. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't rude. And then he tweeted like, if I go off on this, the board has every right to come after my shares. Like basically like if I start mother effing you publicly, sure, sue me, come after me.
Would you consider the martyr stance, or
I don't know.
Am I reading too much into that?
I don't know, but it's just fascinating. It is a bummer because I think they were on a really good trajectory. This is such a disruption to what they were doing, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Some of the rumors circulating are that Ilya, the chief data scientist over there, had and the team had discovered AGI, and they were internally were trying to pump the brakes on it and say, like, this is too fast. Sam and Greg were trying to move very fast. It is widely known that they were trying to move very, very fast.
They're trailblazers. That's what they do.
And I think like that's needed, but it's also, you have to take this with caution. So there's balance in there. And I think that's part of the challenge in this.
So what was their main reason? Did they come out with any one specific reason to why they fired him?
Not at this very moment yet.
Okay.
I have a feeling we will find out. I have a feeling we'll
Well,
find out.
the board is
soon.
going to cover, like, yeah, at the end of the day, if they want to protect the company, they're going to need to give a reason. Like, that's just PR 101.
And even the people, and I think the biggest beef here now is everyone agrees they should be back at OpenAI. Most everybody agrees. And I think the board even is backpedaling. The challenge is Sam, because of those actions, now is demanding more control and more like, you can't do this to me again. And they're saying, no, that's their own fault. Like you screwed this up. This, like, I can't remember a moment in history where I've seen such a big screw up from a company, from a board of directors. And I'm probably not thinking hard enough about it. I'm sure there are others.
I'm trying to think about it.
But like,
the first thought I had was the Nike. This was more controversial than anything. It was when Colin Kaepernick took the knee, and Nike, I think, backed him. And then everyone started saying, like, you know, throwing their Nike gear away and saying they'll never shop. And I don't remember exactly the revenue cost, you know, like the revenue damage that it did, but that was like the most controversial thing that I can think of as of recently. But it wasn't an executive making that move.
So I don't think that this is damaging from like people are leaving. Like most ChatGPT subscribers probably don't even know about what's going on out there. You know, it's
fair.
Maybe the average user, like my wife maybe uses ChatGPT. She doesn't know any of this story. It's those that are like mainly in this tech space. And I think where this is damaging from is like a talent and development standpoint. And that's where it's going to hurt the company. Yeah. I think those are the kind of things, you know, you need to be thinking about as an organization and looking at situations like this. If there's a key influential leader that everybody follows, taking such a dramatic action is never going to be the right path. Unless it's egregious, unless it's wildly egregious. Like Sam got it on with like 10 employees and was constantly sexually assaulting women around. Like, then but then like come out with like the reason why.
And
like,
they would have already.
Sure. You know, so there's times and places for those things. But yeah, man, it's fascinating to watch and to read.
I don't know enough to make any statements or like side with anything yet, because this is the power of the news cycle, by the way. You can talk about this all day without really any content, which is, if you think about it, the most fascinating thing that humans do. Like, we have, in essence, nothing. We just know that he was fired. Yeah. That people were unhappy. Yeah. And we don't know what's going to happen, but there's speculations. And this has gone on for 5 days straight, which is amazing. I think you made a great point of the ethics of it all. And I think we advocate for a lot of transparency. And I think what you bring up in this case is there's a right place and the right time to do this. And that's where you need to make sure everyone is aligned on your team. As if there's going to be something this drastic, let's figure this out internally before it transpires. However, the problem is everyone has access to the information right away now. It takes one person to leak the thing. And everyone wants their moment of fame, right? Oh, I leaked this story.
So many leaks on this.
So that's the issue. So it's important when you, from the moment you hire someone to the culture you build to everything, to not protecting yourself, but building a trusting ecosystem that will help you manage those hot situations, right? Yeah. And no one is perfect. Everyone's human. And I'm sure a lot of the dramatic action was probably more of a human response than a CEO or executive response, right? Yeah. And those are you probably know this better than anyone. That's always the fine line. Yeah. The way you want to react as a human being versus the leader of a company.
It's tough because we're all humans and we have our emotions and, you know, but anyway, I was quickly scrolling through X to see if there's anything new here, but
no, what I've seen is a lot of recaps. Everyone is recapping the situation and asking, what have I missed exactly? Just to make sure. Yeah. To make sure.
It's fascinating. So
last bit of news, very important news. Jen already knows this. Your wife knows this. My wife knows this. Bloomsy box with arguably the coolest marketing campaign, the best money invested by a company in a long time, offering you, my friends, yes, you, even if you're a business owner, well, if you can also take 12 days off, to watch 12 Hallmark movies for 12 days while sipping on free hot cocoa with some comfy socks on sent by them, and just rate them and judge them based on criteria.
Hey, what's the play here?
Paul, I'm going to need some time off.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in a time off request.
Unexpected sickness.
Sorry about that, guys.
Listen.
No more podcast for a couple weeks.
We're actually going to cut this now.
If you update your LinkedIn job title to professional Hallmark movie watcher.
Oh my gosh.
That's a cool resume update.
No, I don't want to make that commitment because you'll really do it.
That's true, I would.
So this Bloomsy box is a flower subscription and online flower shop. And Juan, the founder of Bloomsy box, has been at SubSummit many times.
And he's speaking next year.
And so I want to ask this question. Juan, what's the marketing play here? Like, I'm trying to understand this.
Do you have any speculations? You obviously do have speculations.
I do. It's the target audience in some way.
Yeah. I'm saying yes, by the way. I'm not the authority. I'm just agreeing with you.
That's kind of where it stops.
You don't have any speculation of why they would do
like,
this?
That's so cool, and I just recognize.
Yeah, look,
them
it
as
got
like
a lot of
publicity
attention.
thing.
Sure,
That's
it got a
one
lot of
thing for
attention
sure.
to the target audience, but it doesn't connect as much for me.
All right, my theory.
Like,
not
if you're like you're gonna watch the Hallmark movies and tell us how many references of flowers are in there.
So I don't think it's
whoever
necessarily
guesses the best is gonna get it.
No, I think this could be either a holiday play or a all-time play where they're gonna try to curate a box based on what people are judging. And so I guarantee you some of the questions are going to be incredibly specific about something about the movie. They didn't pick 12 obviously they didn't pick 12 random movies. I'd have to look into it, but my speculation, this is going to help them curate their next box or create a partnership with actors in the movie that is maybe ranked the highest. There is something about it that's going to appeal to their consumers, expand their target audience, to get more eyeballs on the box, and also to give something very personal. I think the greatest play is someone commented, I think, on someone's LinkedIn account and said, this is so much better than wasting $2,500 on a stupid ad that doesn't work out. This is something where they made an investment, right? And I've literally talked about this to my entire family.
No, I get that. No, I sent it to my wife immediately.
Yeah, so it's a great play.
But it didn't make us think about Bloomsy box. It made us think about Hallmark.
The play comes after. I think it's deliberate.
For what? Like those cult people that they had watch it?
No, I think it's for later. I think like they're going to keep the news cycle going, and then once that's done, there's going to be something else.
To be determined. But I like it. Just feels a little too disconnected to me.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I'd love to be convinced.
I'm Team Bloomsy, baby.
I'm always Team Bloomsy, but I'm just confused.
Team Bloomsy
I
also
love those guys.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah,
just
exactly. Now, look at Juan is awesome. The team is on. Like, I think I'm here for it.
Could be up.
I want it to be whatever they're doing. I want it to be successful.
Dare I say it could be up for best marketing campaign award. Could be up.
Bing. Cube Awards live now at SubSummit.com. Are they? Thank you.
Sorry, I was ready for the bing.
No, that was
you said
amazing.
Bing, and I had it ready.
Do we have Cube Awards open on SubSummit? I don't think they're open yet.
We have a wait list open. You can
do.
For sure enter the wait list. So the Cube Awards, if you don't know, best subscription award in the world. There's like 15 categories. Yep. You can nominate your subscription for best media subscription, best digital subscription, best membership, best subscription box, best customer experience, best marketing campaign. We're also going to have 2 brand new categories coming up in the new year, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be very, very cool to see. But yeah, enter the waitlist now, and then we'll roll it out early next year. More details to come at subsummit.com.
All right, Louis, we have had an amazing
I was waiting for a ding there.
podcast.
It would also have been nice if you were pointing at the camera when I was on you. You're pointing at me. Point at the camera, we'll do the ding. You ready?
All right. Well, do I have to say everything?
No, just last sentence. Ready? Here we go.
We'll roll it out at subsummit.com soon.
Boom.
I don't know. I like looking at anyway.
That's all right. Either way, I think it worked out.
Whatever, man.
Hang on. Let's try and see if you can get the ding on me.
Okay.
Oh, whatever.
I love you, Bradley.
I love you more, Bradley.
I wasn't ready for the second one. It needs to like reset the sound, so I just couldn't do it.
Don't cut
fast
this out of
enough.
the podcast. Keep
No,
this
no,
in.
this is gonna stay
Thank
for
you.
sure.
All right. We have had an amazing podcast so far. Lots of things learned. But I think we are looking at our time here. It's time ready for a game.
Ready? There's still so much. Man,
What do you got? What else you want to cover today?
you went to the freaking F1 Grand Prix in Vegas.
Yes. Let's finish on
Like,
that, and then we gotta.
that's an
just keep an eye
interesting-
on time here. I was in Vegas last weekend here, and they had a couple tickets to some of the practice rounds, saw qualifying. I have a friend who was able to get us a suite at the Cosmo and over to have a balcony view of the track on the last night there for the race. Very cool experience. A lot of people out there were complaining about it, and especially the locals, they didn't like it. But I will tell you that they did a good job directionally. They did a good job of handling communication there. They had an app that worked really well. There's a growing sport, and I think the conversation point here is there are rumors of Apple looking to adopt the global streaming rights of it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is big.
Which is very big.
Also, growing sport. It's also like one of the most popular sport. It's just in the U.S. It's
Sorry,
growing.
I should. That's the asterisk I should put
But
on it.
still
It's
growing. Growing nonetheless.
in the
Technically
United
speaking,
States
completely
in
accurate.
popularity. I think it's going to be. I think the United States audience is still going to be challenging to crack. The Drive to Survive Netflix show really opened it up for them. Liberty Media, who owns the Formula One, has been exploiting that, of course, and they launched a Miami Grand Prix and the Vegas Grand Prix, and continuing to lean into that. The truists that are in this, love the sport out there would rather just see the races in Monaco and other, the classics that they have out there. But on that note, because of these growing U.S. following and more global demand for it, Apple could pick up for, I think, it's a rumor, $2 billion.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
And it's massive. The challenge, like, it takes away from ESPN and some of the ones where you can watch it right now. I think they could do something really cool with it. Apple could do a really cool combo, like app and streaming. FIA and Formula One could build a really, like, the apps for the Vegas Formula One and everything were really cool. There's an opportunity to do a really nice subscription built around, like a really nice bundle built around all this.
I mean, this is everything that I want in the world and more, where like two titans of separate industries come together and make like dreams happen, because there is something to be said if Apple were to own it, right? Like, they're going to mimic Drive to Survive. And like, I was thinking about it that way so Drive to Survive is something that rolls out after the season is over. Yeah. Why haven't they applied it? Wow. Sorry, Siri doesn't understand.
Siri's in on this.
A little rude over here.
Yeah.
Whereas HBO, the Hard Knocks series, which follows an NFL team during the preseason, it's a week-by-week thing where you get right after. And I'm wondering, like, Apple, they have amazing documentaries. Their content team is great on Apple TV Plus. So I'm wondering how they're going to take that as a step higher, because they're not going to want to be associated with Netflix. Those are two direct competitors, unless they absorb Netflix,
I think
which would be interesting.
There are things that they could do to bring the average user more into it.
Oh, for sure.
On race weeks. Try to Survive, like, you'll binge it and then you're like, oh, is it going on right now? I think as long as they do that right, that's worthy of their investment. Yes. That's worthy of what they're doing there. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's cool. I think, I'd love to see sports continue to do that. NFL's done it with Red Zone and what they're doing there from that standpoint. Expanding on kind of like content and bridging gaps. NBA's been doing it, so more power to them.
We'll see, and maybe Netflix will try to be in the race for acquiring the whole thing.
That's a lot of money, man. The only one that has that money to blow is Apple.
It is, but I'm wondering if there's a play there, because when you think about it, Netflix's very first live sports event was that thing, like the F1 drivers in the golf club, in the golf carts, playing whatever it was, round golf. So they're definitely leveraging the swing one and the Drive to Survive. So they're dependent right now on two sports. They need to figure out another sport to go after. Yeah. They need to offer live sports because every other streaming service is. So this might be the key to surviving. See what I did there? For Netflix,
Well played.
compared to the other competitors. But what was interesting to me is, from an outsider perspective, the experience of the Vegas Grand Prix seemed horrible.
Yeah,
and
it
you
wasn't
were
bad.
telling me that it was actually pretty
Like,
cool.
if you know Vegas, like, and I've been to Vegas more times than I can count. I legit should have been counting, but I can't remember anymore. So, like, you know, like how to navigate around things. It's one big IKEA store. And they, like, for Formula One, it's the exact same way. You just had to know, like, how to get from point A to point B, and you follow the paths and the signs, and it wasn't that bad. It actually, like, they scattered the food things around enough, the drink things enough. I never really had to wait in line very long for much. I think anybody was complaining, I don't know what they're complaining about.
Well, the drivers mainly weren't happy.
Oh, the drivers, like, and I think it was Max Verstappen that was like the biggest baby about it all.
who already
I
won
like-
the Grand Prix. How dare he?
I have a lot of respect for Max. He's a really good driver. He's got a good car, so that helps him. But I honestly think he's too vocal. I think he should shut his mouth. Like, I think he's
That's just one man's opinion.
no, I think he's too vocal about, like, hating on Vegas. That's your job. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
That's your job. Like, I know you're a driver, but you're also a paid spokesperson for Red Bull and for your team and for the sport. And if you want to get more people to watch it so you can do more racing and have more fun and enjoy what you're doing more, sometimes you got to suck it up a little bit, buddy.
Or you just mimic what the WWE is doing and you become a quote-unquote villain and you give really crazy sound bites to the media so people want to see you lose.
You think Max is trying to be a villain?
I don't think so. I think he's very honest. I think he gives the media the best quotes out of any of the drivers.
I know.
Outside of Daniel Ricciardo, which he's just funny. But if you think about it, they're in the entertainment business. I'm not saying someone is telling him to be the villain.
I don't
but like,
think Max should be a villain, though.
it works perfectly for him and for
sure,
this
yeah.
effort.
Okay, maybe
It
it is.
works
Maybe I'm wrong.
perfectly.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Everyone wants to see him lose now.
Not everybody. There's people who are bigger fans. Like, I don't want to see him. I'd like to see him lose because I want to see more competitiveness in the sport. Like, it'd be nice if, you know, they were more evenly matched and, like, had better races.
How about
So
Charles?
that's the way it's going. I'm on board with that. My friend who went with me there, she's a big Lando Norris fan. He crashed out in that
He's
race,
cute.
but
Sorry,
He's
he's a
just-
good driver. I mean, it's
good driver. All right, we are coming up on time here. It's time to make that transition. You ready for it, Bradley?
Oh, I'm ready for it.
It's time for another round of Name That Subscription. Ooh,
HelloFresh,
name the
Peloton,
brand.
BarkBox, and more.
Name That Subscription is brought to you by SubSummit. Are you looking for a conference to go to where you can meet other like-minded subscription brands? Are you wanting to go and party your life away for 3 days in Dallas, Texas? Are you wanting to do something else that I haven't named so far? SubSummit's not actually a sponsor.
Are you
but
just curious and you just want to check this out?
want to learn, grow, and build your subscription business? Go to subsummit.com to get your tickets today.
Ding.
All right,
Bradley.
let's do this.
You're just not there.
Here we go. Well, that was so quick. That's not fair.
For
expectations are
those
high.
of you that haven't seen or heard of this game show before, Name That Subscription is a series of clues where Bradley will tell us some clues about a subscription brand, and then Louie and I have to guess it.
And I'll summarize it another way. It's a game where we pretend we give prizes and we don't. So,
We have a pizza
there's
party
that.
on the schedule. There's a pizza party on the
sure we
schedule.
do. Sure we do. Allegedly.
We have
all
15 points today towards our 100 points to get the taco party. Let's
Taco
go.
time. Let's do it. All right, set one.
Closing my eyes.
20 points. According to Zoom Info,
Ooh.
they have a revenue of 445.3 million. I don't know if that means at some point annual. Anyway, 2022 U.S. market size of their overall industry is 31.9 billion. In 2022, reportedly had 770 employees,
Ooh.
and it was founded in the United States of America.
Not.
Peloton.
It is not Peloton.
I think we've done Peloton before anyway. But you know why I said that is because I think you had mentioned their revenue earlier. It was right around that number.
Well, yeah.
it
There was
415?
That was their
415.
subscription
It was
revenue.
415.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom Info, I think, is it's like a little behind sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is behind
So
sometimes. But
455 market is 31
445.
billion. Launched in the U.S. It's American made.
America.
Therefore, it offers freedom. I don't really know where I'm going with this. What do you? What's your Peloton? Was your real guess? Okay, I'm gonna go with
only because of that conversation earlier where we talked about it.
455. 31. What's a 31?
Are we done with this round of clues? Are there more?
Nope. Those are the clues for. Yeah.
What's a 31? What would you say a $31 billion market is like? Like what's the market? It's not streaming. It's not fitness. It's not pets. Is it? It's not mental health. Is it beauty? Ulta?
No.
Close?
No.
All right, sweet.
Chewy. Is it Chewy?
No, Pet Space got to be bigger than 31 billion.
No.
Didn't we do Bark last week? Was Bark?
Yeah, we did Bark.
That total market size is 154 billion. Sorry.
I need a new clue.
All right.
Paul, you good?
We're going to set 2, 10 points.
Dang it.
We failed.
They have. You got this. You guys can probably do this. 10.1.
Probably
It has. Here we go. So, this company has 3.4 million subscribers.
Oh, gosh.
The average cost of subscription is around $37 a month.
Oh gosh.
Allegedly, have a 25% annual churn rate.
Wow, it's really high.
Who works in annual churn?
Nominated for 2 Cube Awards back in the years 2021 and 2022. But they have never spoken at SubSummit. And then there's one more clue, but then I'm going to wait because it feels kind of rude.
2021.
It feels what?
I feel like it's kind of easy, so I'm going to wait.
So it's an annual subscription. Well, maybe not, but I mean, so it's not beauty. I don't think it's pets. I don't think it's fitness. I don't think is it. Work with me here.
Yeah, I know. So I started to think like, okay, Ipsy, BoxyCharm. BoxyCharm? No.
No, he spoke.
He did speak. Yeah. No, good call. The 25% churn makes me think it's something that.
Could it be a membership?
Yeah. Well, the 25% churn makes me think this is a subscription box, but that's super high.
$37 did make me think of that too.
Yeah, and the price point on it, 37 at monthly average price, and the lower number of subs at 3.4 million.
Could it be Vinyl Me, please?
But wait, hang on. Total revenues. This doesn't make sense. Hang on.
Is it Vinyl Me, please?
Is it
Vinyl Me, please?
No.
Is it close to being Vinyl Me?
Times 3, 4.
You're having so much fun. I don't like you right now.
Yes.
This is 120. This doesn't make sense. 37 monthly average price, 3.4 million subs puts us at 125 million annually.
I can give you
no.
It's
So
still 10 points. It's still in the 10-point thing. I can give you that last
okay,
one.
yeah, sure.
It's still 10 points. It is not a subscription box.
Oh, that's a good hint.
That's a clue?
That's a clue. It's an
Not a
official
sub-box.
clue.
Okay.
It's an official clue that was 10 points. So we're not necessarily cheating. I just wanted to hold off to see what you guys got.
Could it be? No. 37. What costs 37? Is it Audible? Is it?
I want to say
it's
Athletic
not streaming.
Greens AG1, but that is
supplements. Well, that's still technically a box. Is that a box?
What?
Athletic Greens.
No, that's Subscribe and Save to me. That's auto ship Subscribe and Save.
But don't they send you a box?
Sure, but it's not the
It was a
same.
joke. It was a joke.
Okay.
It was a joke.
What's going on?
Sorry
What's
for-
wrong with you?
Sorry for laughing, everyone.
about to get fired.
Jeez.
Oh God!
You make one little silly joke.
Okay. Dang it!
What's the market that's 31 billion?
This doesn't. But the numbers aren't. These numbers aren't making sense to me here. 3.4 million subs. That's $37 a month, unless some of them are annual.
All right, just say stop, okay?
Stop. Okay. What do you want me to do?
I was gonna riff off a bunch of industries, and you can.
Okay,
just
go
say-
ahead. Go.
All right, so we have music, we have cosmetics, we have fitness, we have mental wellness, we have streaming, we have home goods, we have
It's not a subscription box.
Refreshments, beverage. We have
Two
food and
Cube
beverage.
Awards. 2 Cube Awards.
We have
Cube
Cube
Awards.
Awards. It's not a segment. We
I know,
Um,
just helping you.
media. Could it be
This
media?
is hint water.
No, we've already
We
done
just
hint.
did him
I don't
water.
know.
Can you stop? Could it be media?
My brain
Hint
can't.
water.
My brain continues to map towards like previous ones that we've done.
Could it be media? Is media? Who's been nominated for media?
It's not media. The market size is bigger than that.
It depends
than
which.
media.
Depends which.
Publications.
Digital? Is it an app? Bradley, can you just say hot or cold? Is it an app?
I mean, it has an app, but it's not like it is an app.
This is blowing my brain right now. Don't you give up on me.
I'm not giving up. I'm at a loss on this one for a second here.
I think I want to have you guys give up.
I think
The next one
I
you'll
still
get it.
like where I'm stuck. It's got to be. God, the churn is so high. The churn is just throwing me off and getting me stuck.
Blue.
And
nope.
770 employees. What's going on here? Why annual churn though?
Why?
Is that divided by 12? So is it 2% a month? I don't know.
25% annual churn rate. Yeah.
Is it an education? Oh, Duolingo?
Not by Camp. Duolingo? Bradley?
It has no. He said it has an app, so there's a physical
I
component.
don't know how we're ever going to have
What's
a
the 5
taco
point?
party.
Okay,
How are we
alright.
ever going to have a taco
What's the
party?
5 point?
Well, we're never gonna have a taco party anyway, because you're never gonna give us a taco.
Also
Can
true.
we, when we have the pizza party, can you guys correct this live
Yes,
on the podcast?
I will.
Yeah,
Gladly.
We
Can we
will say,
all
hey,
agree
we had a
that you're
pizza
gonna-
party.
I will be the first one. I will save my slice until I eat on this podcast.
Okay, all right. Here's
Cool.
the next one.
Done.
This
That
will
sounds
give it to
unhealthy.
you. This will give it to you. Founded in 1889.
What?
Yep.
You just said,
1889. Yep.
that's
gonna
not New
give
York
it to you.
Times, though,
I
It
mean,
is not New York Times.
because we did it before.
so it's a
It's not New York Times.
it's a media and publication.
yeah, it's. I mean, the only way.
The
Washington
Wash Post.
No, not Washington Post.
I will do something to you.
Flip the desk. Flip the desk. Flip the desk.
I can't. My computer. Your computer is on it.
There's too much technology on that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
Founded in 1889.
We were supposed to get that from this.
Keep going. What else do you have in the 5 point?
Physical and digital subscription.
You used to get that like in the tens. More.
Oh, man.
We need more.
That's it.
Operates out of the Eastern Seaboard.
What now?
I don't know how that helps to be complete.
Yeah.
What's that?
Physical and digital founded in
Location.
1889. Physical and digital founded in 1889.
The Boston Globe.
This is.
Just okay.
It's
all
not
right,
GM OnStar,
here's
is
the
it?
deal. Just do remember.
If you say Cube Awards one more time.
You've been saying ones that aren't Cube Awards. You've been saying.
I thought I did. I thought Wash Post was a nominee.
Yeah, but Boston Globe was not.
Oh.
Yeah. Duh, Louis.
Silly me not remembering 3 years ago of nominees. Crazy. Okay, media. What did we nominate? What
I
did-
was starting to lean into like. It's not automotive subscription. It's physical and digital.
It's media. It's got to be
18-
media.
1889.
It's media for sure.
Yeah, it is
Physical
for
and
sure
digital.
media. Who are we missing out of previous Cube Awards nominees? in that
Benzinga. It's not
category?
Benzinga.
New York Times,
Wall Street Journal.
It is Wall
Whatever.
Street
man.
Journal.
I don't even want to celebrate. This sucks. Don't play the
Congratulations.
music.
Okay.
Don't you play the music.
Okay, well, I have this one instead.
We deserve that.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll do that
we
one
deserve
instead.
this much.
5 points.
You know what? We don't even.
I mean, it was pretty close. I mean, I think
Congratulations.
at one point you were talking media around
you
the
can
10
delete
point
the
mark.
recording. I don't care about this anymore.
All right, team. We've got 20 points total towards our taco party.
That's so
of
sad.
100 points.
Pathetic.
I think. Listen, let's be happy. We got 5 versus 1.
We
Yep,
shouldn't be
agreed.
happy with this.
Be
No,
happy
I
with
mean,
This was
listen,
horrible.
it could have been 1 point.
770 employees, 31 billion market size, 445 million in revenue.
31 billion. I'm still shocked about. I definitely
Only
thought,
3.4 million subs though.
makes sense.
Isn't that churn? Huh. It's bored me. No.
That came from the heart.
I did. Interesting. Well, look, guys.
I'm happy for the Wall Street Journal. I'm just unhappy about myself.
All right. Well, look at another good episode. We covered a lot of ground today. Everything from
Just
OpenAI to cycling.
told my mom I was going to be on here.
If you enjoyed this podcast and you
One of us
enjoyed
did.
or this YouTube video, please share it
Or
with
don't.
anybody that you think would love to see Louis in his misery here today.
Whatever.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next on episode 27.
Cheers.